There's Donald. He's a goofy duck. Hey guys, Bobby Hughes here with the Heritage Pride Urban Homestead out in the greenhouse right now, and I'm back to bring you a very wild hydroponic rail system vlog update. I don't remember what vlog entry this is, but a lot has changed with our rail system. Kept running into a lot of clogging issues and just pump issues, all kinds of stuff. So anyway, just a prime example of how, you know, jumping on YouTube and watching videos and reading and stuff like that is nothing compared to the experience you get from firsthand hands-on knowledge. You know, I would have never dreamt of having this many problems with the system, but now I think we're going to be good. So basically what I've done is I have done away with the dripper system altogether and gone to strictly NFT, and so that's what we've converted the system over to, and so I'll just grab the video or the camera and show you around. Alright guys, so I'm just panned out as far as I can be here, and just wanted to show you guys. So first thing I did, the problem that we was having, first and foremost, let's talk about the problem. So the problem that I was having was that these Rainbird or Apollo dripper manifolds, this little thing here unscrews and pulls out, and that's like the main control for the whole unit. Each valve has its own, or each outlet has its own manifold or adjustment, but that's like the main one. So the water comes up through the bottom, and I don't know if you'll be able to see it or not, but there's like those 4 little tips in there. That's the bottom of that thing, of this top screw piece. So what happens is the water runs up into it and then runs out of it to each port on the manifold. And so I was getting real bad clogs in there, and it would completely shut off the water flow to all the cups on that line. And so it would clog up, and I would have to take it apart, unclog it, and so it was just a horrendous chore to keep it up. So I tried to add one of these little inline Y filters in here. It worked really good for about 2 hours or so, and there is a mesh screen that goes in here, so the water comes in and then it goes into the inside of the screen and then flows back out to the outside, and then it's diverted up through this port, so it filters all the water coming through. And what was happening was the filter was getting clogged up, mainly from the sediment from that powdered fertilizer or nutrient that we was using. That was the main culprit. It was just creating like a film, like a hard crusty film on that screen, and it was blocking it up, so that too would shut the water supply off. So this is a great idea in theory to filter your water in your system, but the mesh screen was way too fine. It needs to be more coarse, just to collect like the big stuff. There's no reason for it to have to be so small. You just want to collect like bugs and the big stuff out of it, and this collected everything. It even collected the powdered sediment left over from that powdered nutrient, that water soluble nutrient. So I took that off and just ran it straight with the drippers, and like I said, the dripper manifolds would get clogged up. So finally I thought about it and thought about it, and I thought, I'm tired of dealing with, it was like day in and day out, and I can't stay out here all day. I got to work a job. So, you know, I can't sit out here and babysit the system all day. And what finally happened was a lot of my strawberry plants ended up dying or dried up and wouldn't sprout. Like all those crowns that I started, out of all the crowns, these two are like the only two that survived. All of the other ones, you see that one was coming up really well. It died. And most of these, I don't know if these are going to come back or not. They're just dead. So anyway, what we have left is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16 strawberry plants out of basically 36, because 36 is what we started with from the beginning. So we lost 20 strawberry plants because of that dripper system. So my advice to you, if you're watching to learn, is screw the dripper system. So anyway, so these are doing really good. They were starting to get pretty bad. They started to turn, this one you can see here, the leaves started to dry out real bad on them and shrivel up and turn yellow. And so that's when I made the call. I was like, I don't want to lose any more plants. So that's kind of when I made the call to go ahead and nix the drippers all together and go to NFT system. So this was on probably Wednesday evening when I came home from work. I came out to check on everything, and in a day, I check every morning before I go to work, and then I come out here every evening when I get home. So in the morning, everything was running fine as far as I could tell. And in the afternoon when I got home, that's what that plant looked like. So I did this makeshift system here just to temporarily keep them going. And so I took the water, the nutrient-rich water out of the sump tank. I put it in these nursery trays, and then I took my hoses from over there. I turned my pump off and then left my air pump going. And I had 2 small flat air stones. I put one in each one, and then just let them set. And they've been doing like this since Wednesday night, and today's Saturday. So this has done really good. I guess you would consider this deep water culture, because the roots are completely submerged in water, and then we just added oxygen to the system. So anyway, that's what I did to hold my plants over to keep them alive until I could get out here today. And it is almost 8 o'clock at night. I've been out here since this morning working on this thing. So anyway, back to the system now. So the first update we did was I took all the rails off and I leveled everything up. So everything's completely level across there now. No need for the the runoff or whatever. So we leveled everything up, and then because of the amount of water coming through here now with the NFT, I wanted to increase this drain size here so that the water would not splash out of the drain holes up here. So I increased this from 1.5 inches to 2 inches. It's the same configuration, just increased to 2 inches, and then I even left the drain pipe down there and just put in a reducer from the 2 inch down to 1.5 inches. Didn't really cost me much to do that because I already had the 2 inch pipe. All I had to do was go buy a few fittings, and some of the fittings I already had because they were fittings I had purchased for the aquaponics build. So anyway, this all stayed the same. I did go ahead and change out, this was my first experience with uniseals. I went ahead and changed out the uniseals on here because one of them had started to leak already. So I took it out, I wrapped some Teflon tape around it because I'd heard somebody say something about being able to, fix it up by wrapping Teflon tape around it. It still leaked. So when I put the rails back in, I went ahead and put some silicone around the uni-seal and then popped the uni-seal in. So far, so good. No leaks yet. And then, of course, these drain pipes are longer now because we've increased the height here to level it up. I decreased the height back there, increased the height here to level everything up. So we also had to increase the length of these. Another addition to these drain pipes is at the bottom. I don't know if you'll be able to see it or not. We'll try to get you a shot. See, there's a little fitting on there. I just put a 45 on there and turned the 45 the direction that I wanted the water to flow, just to help keep the force of the water coming through here, because there's a lot more water running through here now than there was, to keep it from hitting and then trying to splash back up through there. I just added a 45 at the bottom and turned it, like I said, the direction that I want the water to flow away. There's no glue on that fitting. It's just fitted, dry fitted. So up here, I decreased the height of the PVC sticking out of the top of the uni-seal. I would say, in my guess, this is probably the least amount of water that I'll ever have in the system. It's probably maybe probably about 3/4 of an inch deep in the 4-inch pipe. And so my idea for raising the level of the water is I'm just going to take some couplers and cut the coupler off at the height that I need it. So right now, with my roots not being very long, I need the water obviously to be probably about the same height up on the net cup as it is here in this water. So maybe halfway up on the net cup. And so what I'll do is just cut a coupling and stick it on there, and that will raise the water level inside the pipe to the height of the coupler. And then as the roots start to develop and grow, I can change it out and cut one shorter, and then eventually just pop it off all together and just run with 3/4 of an inch of water in the bottom of the pipe from then on out. So that's the drain system. Leveled up the rails, changed out the uni-seals, changed out the drain pipes to reconfigure for the height difference. Everything in the rails are the same, and then the water supply. So let's go down here and look at the pump. This is the new pump. Can't remember if I've done an update since I put the new pump in. I think I have. So I put a new pump in, and it's a bigger pump, obviously. It's an 1.25 inch male fitting on top of the pump. So I just went from 1.25 inch, then I put a rubber boot on, a black rubber boot, and that's so that I can take the pump loose from the system if I need to. And then out of there, it reduces down to 1 inch. So I've got a 1-inch feed pipe that goes up to our new manifold. Air tubes are the same. I did go back to only 2 air stones. I don't know why I didn't really think of this before, but before in one of the other videos I added the 2 extra air stones to it. But I'm actually probably getting more air bubbles from 2 air stones because it's forcing more air through those 2 air stones than it was. It's forcing it harder through those 2 air stones than it was through the 4 air stones. So I'm really actually, I think, getting more oxygen. You can see the bubbles. The bubbles are bigger. I'm getting more oxygen through those 2 than I was with the 4. And I also noticed that I was getting a lot of trash in the system, mainly like bugs and dust and just stuff that's in the air as it comes across and would land in the net cups or even down here in our little access port. I was getting a lot of trash in the sump tank. So once again, I had the filter system that didn't work. So I went and I found these paint strainer bags at Home Depot, I think. They probably got them at Sherwin-Williams or Lowe's or wherever. But it's just a strainer bag. They use it for painting. And I put it in the system. You can see it's catching the PVC particles that were left in the system from when I drilled all the new holes and stuff. So that should do the job catching bugs and things like that. Should do the job catching that stuff. So that should, because in theory, it can run through the system now because there's no little Apollo manifold for it to clog up. So it's okay if it runs through the pump. The pump will handle it. It can run through the pump and then through the system, and then on its way back through, it'll catch in the little filter bag. So that should alleviate any problems there. So another modification that I made here, let's move that out of the way. I went ahead and, not really a modification, just some maintenance. Everywhere where something goes into the top of the tank, I went ahead and sealed it off with some silicone. That's the new standpipe coming up. That's the old hole for the small tube that was coming up. And I sealed everything up, trying to keep bugs and stuff like that out of the tank. I imagine that the water in the or the nutrient in the water is probably sweet, and it probably attracts the bugs. So that will eliminate one avenue of approach for the bugs to get in. And then here's the filter for the for that. That's the screen, the mesh screen for that filter. For that Y filter, and you can see it's so small. I mean, it's like wire. You almost need like a screen like that, like a window screen or something. And that one's really tiny. So I made use of it and put it over the hole that all my cords come out of, and I just cut a little slit in it for the cords to come out, and then I also caulked it into place too. So it's like a bug guard to keep them out, but yet still have a place for the cords to run down in there. So I still made good use of it. So the water's a little warm right now because of the it's been out in the sun, and I just pumped fresh water into the system. But here's our 1-inch pipe going up, and then it goes up into this manifold that I built. So the manifold's pretty straightforward, just a bunch of T's. And so it comes up into a 1-inch and then reduces down to 1/2 inch, and then I've got a 1/2 inch ball valve, and then it drops right down into the rail. And so then you can adjust the flow of the water the way, however much flow you want. You can't see that one because it's too far back there, but you can just adjust the amount of flow, and then if we need to shut one of the rails down for whatever reason, you can just shut it down. And I was kind of worried about it being all glued together and permanent, that I wouldn't be able to get the rails out. But I mean, these are just barely down in the rail, maybe a 1/4 inch. And this has got enough flex in it that I can actually just pull up on it a little bit and it'll pop right out. So I've been doing it all day, really, just popping them in, popping them out, and it's worked just fine. So anyway, guys, that is what I've decided to do. We're on a strictly NFT now, no more drippers, some modifications to the sump tank. We're pumping good water now. The pump controller is on 2. I've just got it on 2, and I could actually turn it down another notch probably. And then, so we've got a controller here, and then we've also got our controllers there. But even on 1, with the pump timer on 1, if we open those manifolds all the way up, it's way too much water pumping through there at one time. It's a lot of water. But like I said, it's a DC pump, so it should handle the restriction and flow, no problems. The only other thought that I had about modifying it was because the pump is so big, and I know that it's got the pressure to do so, I did think about going in and putting in a Venturi. And then that way I can just run the pump and not the air pump, and the pump will serve as oxygenation for the water, and also to pump the system. And that's what we're going to do in the aquaponic system. Instead of running an air pump, we're just going to run a Venturi, and so the Venturi in theory would help oxygenate the water as well. So I thought about doing that, and we may still do it, but right now I just need a place for my plants to live. So anyway, so the only thing I've got left to do tonight is Well, I say the only thing. I do need to add the nutrients back to the water and get my plants back in. And then I've got some seedlings that I started in the garage. And it was actually for the aquaponic system. It's going over here. Sneak peek. It's going in the aquaponic system. But now that I've got a bunch of 20 leftover slots in my rails, I'm actually not using the strawberry specific nutrient now. I'm using the Flora series by General Hydroponics, and that is pretty versatile. So I can go ahead and put some other things in with it other than just the strawberries. So that's the plan. Alright y'all, so that's pretty much it for this video. Just wanted to show you the hydroponic system now with the changes. Hopefully we won't have any more issues with it. Like I said, this is a learning experience, and if you're thinking about getting into it, I encourage you to go back, watch the other videos. I'll post a little link here for you to check out the rest of the series if you haven't. I'm showing all. I'm not trying to, I don't have any pride about this. I don't care to admit that I've made a mistake. I've told you multiple times that it's a learning experience for me, and this is the first time I've ever done it. So hopefully you can learn from my mistakes and not have to repeat the process. So anyway, my recommendation is not a dripper system. I know some guys have had good luck with the dripper systems. Maybe they should do some more detailed videos on stuff that they've dealt with and how they combat clogging and things like that. Just an idea. But anyway, I think I'm going to be okay with the NFT system. That was kind of the plan, was to eventually go to NFT, but I wasn't going to go to NFT until I had experimented with the hydroponics in theory. Eventually I was thinking about just running the aquaponic system into the rails as well, and then that way I have one ecosystem basically that I have to keep up with, and I don't have two separate tanks. And I probably still will eventually do that. That's the reason why I put the clean out on the other end here of the drain system, so that when I do that, my sump tank is back here on this end where the drain is. So now I can just tie into that and drain it into the sump tank and not have any issues. As far as supply goes, it wouldn't be no thing to cut that off and run another pipe over, and we could supply it all. So like I said, it was an experiment. I wanted to do the dripper system just to see how it worked out, and then eventually convert over to NFT. So now it's a lot shorter than what I had planned on doing, or a lot sooner than I had planned on doing it, but it's done. Hopefully I won't have to change it again or anything. So anyway guys, that's pretty much it. If you have any questions or comments or suggestions, leave them in the comments below. Don't forget to check out the suggested videos and the support us link. If you're not subscribed, you can click on the little icon right here and check out the rest of our videos on our channel. And until next time, get out there and shoot some guns, be safe, and most importantly, have fun. See you guys later.